Hey everybody, Jim from Jim's Coleus Explosion. It's a beautiful day here. It's chilly. We know we had that little streak of spring just to let us know that spring is has arrived. But now we're back to some it's really sunny, but it's wind chill. So I have a little setback, and I need to get this done soon because I need to get my coleus out to the greenhouse. I use a heater in my greenhouse in the early move in, when we may get those nights where it might get to 40 or so. So I usually use a heater to keep it nice and warm in there. And again, I don't put them out until usually the end of April or so. But anyway, the power I use for my greenhouse, I tap from my garage. The setback I'm having is the electrical breaker that I use to power my greenhouse keeps tripping. And I had an electrician here. We checked everything, replaced a whole bunch of wiring, and it's still breaking. It's still tripping. I put a new outlet on the outside, and it's still tripping. So I'm expecting that I have to dig up my backyard here and run a new power line to my garage to power my greenhouse. So scheme of things, we'll get it done, but it's frustrating because I need to obviously I want to get my plants out, but we still have some time. It's a little frustrating. As you can see here, this is actually the power conduit. We're going to get into the plants soon, so bear with me, but this is the conduit that we suspected was what was causing the breaker, the power to keep going. So we placed this and inside, and actually put a new outlet on the outside so I don't have to run the power cord from my garage. And again, everything was replaced, all the wiring inside. So we're thinking that under the ground here there's a short, or possibly under the house. So we'll get to that. Luckily I have a really good electrician. He did the addition on the house. So I need lots of help, everybody. So I'm hoping that we can get that done shortly. So I had mentioned I put new plastic on my greenhouse door. Again, I built this as a really rudimentary, if you want to call it for lack of a better word, greenhouse, a basic greenhouse. I'm toying with the possibility when I retire next year to actually get a good, not a professional, but a good quality greenhouse moved over to this side of the yard. But I haven't really decided yet, because this, honestly, as basic as this greenhouse is, it does the job, and that's really all that matters. It's spacious, but when it's a little mess here now. Let's widen this out a little bit. It's spacious, and there's my new thermostat. I got a little larger one and that one's broken, actually. So at least now I don't have to squint. I definitely see what the temperature is. So, but I did organize it. I got a little bit of cleanup, got all the pots all ready to go. So it's just a matter of time. Got to move the racks back inside, and then the plants. So you can see we got some pots here and so forth. So we got to get that electric fixed so we can get our plants out here. But again, I'm not going to move them until at least another month, the end of April. Let's head inside. Let's take a look at the coleus. They're growing very nicely. Color looks really good. Really excited. I think we're gonna have a good crop this year. Everything looks really healthy. I'm gonna give them some water today. Again, they don't require a lot of water, and I'm using that moisture control potting mix, so I don't need to water a lot. And coleus don't like saturated soil anyway. The only drying that's going on is the bay window, the sun, and the fan. That's going to dry out your soil, but it's best to skip a few days. And we know based on the weight of the pot and digging into the soil, it needs water. Enough chatter, let's head inside and take a look at these beautiful coleus. Hey, before we get started, I mentioned I purchased one of these AeroGardens, and I actually, as you can see, they're growing. I'm growing some lettuce, and you know what? I just put two of these pods in, and I sprinkled a few watermelon Coleus, Wizard Coleus, just a few days ago, so they haven't sprouted yet. So I'm going to see. I just wanted to see how the Coleus growing. It's not that I'm going to use this to grow, just out of curiosity. I'm sure this will be more than enough lettuce. So it's pretty interesting, and you know, it's not bad. It shows you how to put, how much water to put in there. Has a little button. It automatically bubbles the water around, moves it around, comes with some food. Pretty easy instructions, not hard to do. You got to clean it once a month, they say. This adjusts. Whoop. This actually goes up and down. You know, obviously as the plants grow, you want to raise it, so you want to keep it as close to the plant as possible. It just dropped. I'm going to move it up a little bit because you don't want to cook them either. It's warm. It's not like hot to the touch, but it definitely throws a little bit of heat, so it keeps them nice and warm. It was pretty interesting. I got a good deal on it, of course. So figured let me give it a try. Hey, before we get started, remember this is the overwintered Saturn's rings that I've had, and I have that beautiful Wizard Rose Jitters combination growing. I took numerous cuttings of that. We'll get to that also, but you can see this has been going to seed, and I've been manually pollinating it. And some of you might be saying, what are you doing? This is no different than how an insect pollinates. It travels from one and transfers the genetic material from one to another. And it actually, excuse me, there we go. It actually does work, because I've been coaxing these out, doing the same way. As these develop, I just keep pollinating it, and it works. This is well on its way. I'm still going to let it develop. But I did get one last month. If you're following or you remember, I did cut them. I had a nice big stalk, fresh, really, really mature seeds, let them dry out, separated them, and here are the Coleus. All right, so here, so obviously I sowed these late. They're slow, but you can see they're still very, very young. And I got about 16 to 18 of these seeds. So they're coming in, they're doing real well, and we'll see how they develop. You can still sow your Coleus seeds. If you're wondering if it's too late to do it, you can still sow your Coleus seeds. Coleus, you can grow them and keep them indoors or what have you, but it's never really too late, and certainly not now. So you can sow your Coleus seeds now. Nice color. That's going to be a real healthy Coleus. Saturn rings. Okay, so as you can see here, I got my racks, and I still have a number of trays on the rack. These two are for the American Cancer Society I'm donating. The rest are for the farmer's market. Okay, everybody, here we are. You can see they're really taking off. Got a few here. They're in the leggy side. These are just, some of them grow leggy, and I had the grow light right on top of them pretty much. But that's just the way it is, and I can actually start. I'm not going to start trimming it now, but at this point, if you have a really leggy Coleus, how you fix that is you start your trimming. Those two tops right there, those two center ones, you can trim those, and that'll keep it from growing taller and leggy. I mean, the stem may grow tall, but that cutting the tops, even this early, will promote the bottom growth. That's just standard. Actually, this one here, I did that. But this is a plain green, and you're going to get that too. You're going to get sort of duds, plain. I mean, these are just plain green, but we'll see if something develops. I wasn't really sure. That one we're going to keep. That's still a jade. This may be a jade, but this actually was in the jade when I did plant the jade kongs. That's a jade there. But it does have some purple, but But that will happen, so it's nothing that I did anything wrong. It's just, like I said, I call them duds. And that'll, some people like a little green. I'll maybe throw that in a hanging basket just for the little color. But yeah, the jades are the ones with the white in the center, sort of like a white lattice. And there's a few others, but it's still young yet. They're still very, very young, so these may develop more into with some of the white. But you can see here, these are like kingwood torches. There's a Christmas candy there. The scarlets. So you can see they're really, I have them out on the table here and I have to water them, but there's a handful here that are dry that may have been closer to the sun in that bay window. So, but we'll make sure we water them. It's been over 2 days since I've watered them. So, here's more. These are kingwood torches. It looks like a kingwood torch. A lot of nice color. And as I'm looking at these, I'm thinking to myself, where some of these are going to go. I think I have about 3 or 4 hanging baskets, and I'm probably going to order a few more. So I expect to order maybe 3 or 4 more. Most seasons I get around 10. And last year I sold a lot of hanging baskets. Over the past few years I hadn't, so I wasn't really big on them. I was actually putting the hanging baskets, hanging from an awning, thinking that's the purpose of a hanging basket. But it really was a detriment to the plant because people couldn't really see the coleus. So I found when I placed it on the ground, they all went last year, except for 3. I had 12, and so I sold 9 of them last year. So I had 3 left, 3 which I'll reuse. So that and the window box planters, I'm gonna make a few more because those really go. But you can see lots of beautiful color. That's gonna be a big. These Kongs. What's nice about these is they grow really, really big. They're just statement. That's why I grow so many of them, because they just grow all of these Kongs. The Kong families, they're Kong, King Kong. They're Kongs for a reason. I imagine that's where they originated from, but they're all huge leafed coleus, and they just make huge statement. That's a Kong red, a Kong rose. Kong red's very similar. It's tough to differentiate them. I believe that's a Kong rose. Kong reds are more like this. A Kong red will have white in it, white, red, and black. The Kong rose will have just the black and red and green. So very, very similar. It's tough to differentiate them sometimes, but I don't lose any sleep over it. They're beautiful. I know they sell well. Here's some more of the jades. I grew about 50 jades, so they're all coming in different. And remember when I planted all of these coleus, spread them out over the course of about a month. So that's why you see some that are smaller and some that are much, much larger. And also some coleus, by their nature, have much larger leaves. Those are beautiful right there. Amongst my favorite. You can never go wrong with those. Okay, so you can see here these kingwood torches, they're kind of dry. They are dry. Definitely need water, so we're going to give them some water. There might be some vinos in there, the dark vinos. And some of them are the kingwood torches. That's a kingwood there on the left and a Christmas candy on the right. I have the Miracle Grow Shake and Feed general purpose plant food. I'll have that in the In the video, the little product description, you'll see it come up in the beginning of the video, a link to that. I have that mixed in with the potting soil. You can see it mixed in there. The only thing I do use every other time I water is this Super Thrive. I use 2 capfuls for each of these. I'll mix it up and I let it sit. You don't want to use ice cold water. Let it sit for, to get as close to room temperature. You don't want to shock your Coleus, but this is good stuff. It's more of a vitamin. It's not a fertilizer. It's a vitamin, and it just it helps the plant out, and it's very mild. I use a very mild solution. So I'll have the product description in the link in the video as well for this. I think I grew maybe 100 of these fairway mosaics because people really like them, and I believe they're fairway mosaics. People really like them, and I love the color, the mixture, the kaleidoscope. Years ago, I bought some Coleus. They were called kaleidoscopes. There are so many sub-varieties they had mentioned. Christmas candy, fairway mosaics, and there's a number of pineapples that are similar. Pineapples have a less of the red, more of like a yellow with black, but the same patterning. It really all depends on where you get them from. Some of them are patented, so I can't propagate the seeds and sell them. I'm careful about that. And here are my wishbone bluebell Torenias. And these are, again, the flowers. These are doing really, really well. Again, this is my 3rd or 4th season growing them. 3rd season. And the 1st season, I was didn't give them enough light. They just didn't do well. I had 1 or 2 that did very, very well because I happened to put them in the sun. Read into them a little more. And it's tough because I had them mixed in with Coleus, and Coleus don't like a lot of sun, so I'm going to kind of tweak that and make sure that I get these flooded with sunlight. And so far, they're doing really well. Every single seed germinated, and every single one of them are doing well. And there's a few fairway mosaics down the end, so these are really nice. I got blue, and I think I got the color mix too, which are white and red, but they're beautiful. I may just make pots up of these Torenias only. I think that's probably my best course. I can make a handful, maybe 1 or 2 with Coleus, but I think my best bet is just to make some pots with the Torenias. What do you think? And these seeds are small and round, just like Coleus seeds, and they are planted the same way Coleus seeds are. They need light to germinate, moisture, and warmth. So I'm glad I found these. I got these from Swallowtail Gardens, swallowtailgardenseed.com, if you're interested in knowing. All right, everybody. So I hope you enjoyed that. Hope all your Coleus are doing well. Again, if you have any problem, any issue at all, just leave me a message here. Leave me a comment here or over on Instagram. Get right back to you as soon as I can. Lots to come. All right, everybody. So stay tuned. Jim's Coleus. Thanks for watching, and we'll be checking in shortly. Have a great weekend, everybody.